Okay, so I hope this works. I have a little project I need to work on, and my rope has a hole in it, which it's not a very well made rope, which is very disappointing. Um, so I need to turn one of these cards into eights, and what I have set up is some not masking tape. I like duct tape, no, boxing tape, like tape you would use for boxing packages, and then a pair of scissors. And these are the cards that I had already made for the fourths, and then I also did. No, these are the fourths. This is the half, and then this red one is the whole. So what I've done was I had to color them in a specific color, and then on the back side with a black marker I just wrote what it was. This is one. And then when it came to the fractions, I just wrote it out simple, nothing real detrimental. And so I wrote out each part. I don't know where my other half is. So the two halves, I just wrote out like two halves. And then what I did, because I'm dirt poor, and I don't have a lamination thing, well, you guys saw what my tripod is. Music stand. What I did was I took the tape here after I colored it and I wrote out the correct fraction amount. I taped it up. And then I would just throw everything into a sandwich Ziploc bag. Because, yeah, poor people. We make do with what we have, and sometimes we may actually be a bit more creative than people give us credit for. And here's the other fourth, which are colored blue, or is that green? That's green. So I have a card here that I need to cut up into eights. And so we're going to do that real quick before I have class, which is in about an hour or a little bit less. So you could like go and like draw in with a pencil your marks, but I usually just eyeball it, or even better, I'll just fold it and then I'll try to cut along the folds, which doesn't always happen. I try to make it as precise as possible. If you don't have a pair of scissors, you could probably just tear it right down the edge. But since I have scissors, I'm going to use them. That's what I was going to do. I was going to color it first, but oh well. I'll cut these and then I'll color the halves. So, blind girl with a pair of scissors, watch out. Okay, so these are my halves. Obviously, I didn't cut it right on, so I'm going to trim this down so that it's not flappy. Didn't get it straight. That's a little bit better. And then what I'll probably do is, I gotta trim this because it's a little off on the top. That's a little bit better. And then I need to find, I did have another card, but I don't know where it walked off to. I guess I'll use this one. It's a scratch card. What I will do next is take my good old McGuffey reading book. And I'll use the back side because it just has nothing but adverts on the back. And then I'll put the card down. It's a hard surface. And then I'll put the card down, and then I will color the side that is non-line. So the colored side is going to be on the clear side. Because when I write out the numbers to actually write out these fractions, those I use the lines for. In this way, I can just color on the card and not really have to worry about damaging the book or whatever it is I'm coloring on. Now, I have no clue how to do that video speed up thing with the fancy music, so I'm really sorry about that. So you guys get to watch me color. All of my YouTube video that I am doing, I'm trying to do with what helps I can find on the internet that is clear and concise, that shows exactly what I need. Some videos are really good at that, some videos are not. Okay, so I'm starting to bend up on the corners, which is not what I want. But, well. So, I've learned a lot from, like, other video people. Like, just simple things like even just uploading a video. I had to look up and see how to upload a video because I don't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. Now I do know. Recently I had to figure out how to make sure that if people wanted notifications, how they can have that set up and things like that. And another interesting thing I just learned is the icon at the bottom of the screen. From what I understand, if you're on a desktop computer, that is an actual subscribe button. So you can subscribe if you want, which I don't know if anybody wants to watch a blind girl's journey of education again, or whatever they call it. But they can click that icon at the bottom, which on most people it's going to be an actual subscribe button, but for me it's the logo that I have for the channel. It's the school desks from a one-room schoolhouse that I had went and visited, and I took some really nice pictures. If I can get those off on my hard drive, because I don't have a computer, I could do a slideshow one day and talk about my experiences up at the schoolhouse. It was very nice. It was a very nice day when we went. It was the last day for the season that they were open, so I heard about it on the radio in the area where I was living at the time, and I says, hey, I would like to go to this place and visit it before they close for the season. And so I went online. She's like, oh, I don't know the directions, and I had already planned that out. I went online, I looked up the directions, and I wrote them down. So this is like 4/8 that's already colored. I still have to cut these up and then write on them. And then this is going to be the other part. But yeah, I had already been online. Let's see how I colored this. So it's in the directions of the lines. And I looked up the address and wrote down the road and how to get there. And I actually still have those directions. So if I ever want to go back there, I'll just have to catch a horse and buggy or something. Or else find one of those finagled people that have those finagled cars. But yeah, it's a nice little experience that I had up there. They had a lot of older books, very similar to the ones that we use here. If you look at the introduction to Year 1 Arithmetic, I have a couple books there that we are using for education, for mathematics, and it's really, really neat. I mean, some people might say, oh, well, you just memorize it. But if you don't have the concepts of, like, even what the number is, like knowing that 9 is a breakup of 6 and 3, or 2 and 8, or whatever other numbers, just memorizing a bunch of arithmetic facts, addition or subtraction or even multiplication and division, if you just memorize the information but you don't have a concept of what the process is, like, you don't have to understand, like, division. I mean, division is just like one of my biggest things that I don't understand. That's probably why I didn't understand fractions. But just to, like, introduce the concept, like with division, there was one that we had where I think it was 2 divided by 4 or 4 divided by 2. I don't know. But it was set up in a way of 2 boys having a pair of shoes or a pair of boots or whatever. How many would each boy get? I mean, the text of all this stuff is written out in word format, so you're not looking at symbols. And even then, when we do class, it's currently it's a lot of oral stuff where a teacher reads the material or makes up his own stories, which is sometimes very fun. But, like, having that oral work in class, because I'm not worried about numbers and, writing out stuff on paper and things like that, my brain, it can actually focus on the concept of, okay, I have four shoes, and I need to give 2 to each person. How many pairs is that going to be, or whatever? It better helps my brain to focus on what action needs to be done versus looking at symbols on a page and not knowing what they mean. And that's what I was saying about the fractions, is when I've always looked at fractions, I've always struggled with them because it was all abstract symbols. It was numbers with a line, and I didn't know what that line meant until just, yesterday or the day before. I learned that line meant the word of. Like 3/4 would be like 3 of a group of 4. And that will better help me when it comes to larger operations with division and things like that when we get there. So I got my cards colored. So the next we need to get the scissors, and we can do this. You can cut these up, like stack them on top, and then cut them that way. And one of them is a little bit bigger. So let's trim this just a little, and then we can put that in the garbage pile, wherever the garbage pile walked off to. Okay, so this let's just leave that there because we're gonna need a Sharpie, and I gotta figure out where my Sharpie walked off to. So now we already have this cut up into half, into twos. Now we're gonna cut this up into fours, which I just realized I didn't really measure that, but it turned out pretty good. And then you cut up the fours into halves again, and you should come out with squares. So these are my squares. One is a little bit bigger than the other, but it's kind of what you get when you kind of do things on your own like this. I mean, you could technically trim them, but it's not really necessary. There, I trimmed it. All right. They're a little bit more even. Okay, so now we have 8s. Now the fun part was writing on the back sides of these, because these are super, super small. So I need to find my black Sharpie, which I don't know if it's, nope, it's a pen. I can find my black Sharpie here. If I just threw it on the desk, I don't remember. I really do need to clear off my desk. My flashcards are all over the place. I've got books all over the place. I've got stuff all over the place. Yeah, I'm not feeling my marker up here. Let me see if it's in here. Nope, not in there. I think I might have to get another pack of Sharpies because I can't find any of my Sharpies. These are all black pens and a couple red ones for marking errors. What is in here? Oops, knocking over my slate. I wouldn't trust that. It's an Expo, and I don't trust Expos. They don't always work. So I think my black marker might be in the kitchen. So let me run to the kitchen. Let me pause this quick. Okay, I found a black Sharpie. I had to go digging in the, whatever they call it. The closet that has your hammers and your nails and the things that women don't normally play with, but every once in a while they need. Okay, so I need to very carefully write on here. 1/8. Okay, so that's 1. And I put on another one. 1/8. And then I write this out again. Draw a little line. Make it 8. I'm gonna make this out 8 times. I think these are upside down. Oh well. then it's going to be 1/8 and a couple more. Oh, I almost messed up on that one. I almost wrote the 8 on top, but it works out. And then 1/8. One and your 8. And then the last one, which needs a little bit more trimming. Make your 1. And your 8. And then the last step you do before you can go using these really fun tools is you have to tape it all up. So for that, I think what I will do to make this go faster, I will put these, let me see here if I can do it like this. Put these down. I think they just go in a pile like this, but I'm not sure. They should equal one of these red pieces. No, don't know if that equals a red piece, but it should. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna have to split these up a little bit so I can cut around them. There. All right. Then you take a piece of tape. It's gonna be a little bit rough because I'm gonna. I don't even know what time it is. I should check and see what time it is. Oh gosh, I don't have a clock. You just take this and do that. Uh-oh, I did this the other time. I put the tape down and then I didn't leave a piece for me to pick it up. But I could pick it up using this card here. And I pull this up and then you fold in the piece that's going to give you the most bang for your buck. That one has a, oh, there's a black dot on some of these. Darn it. Oh well. I must have been pressing hard. And then somehow you got to fold in on the inside. Now these are bigger pieces, so it's going to be a little bit more challenge unless I just cut them up. Actually, what I could do, I've never dealt with this many pieces before, so I'm kind of figuring out how to best do this. Then you cover these. You want to at least cover as much of the papers as possible, and then you bend your last piece over, and then you cut these up. Let me just cut up the one. So you cut up the one, and then you cut up all the extra tape off. This one I'm going to have to put a little bit more tape on it. Oops, I just got tape on the floor. Okay, and then because I'm kind of playing around with this, I can take this piece of tape and then kind of get it to stick well. No, it's too far down. It's too far down. I don't want it to go there. Okay. It's still too far down. Damn it. It's really hard when you have no depth perception. We'll go like that. All right. And then we fold this in. You fold in your sides. And since the bottom and top piece are already folded, you don't need to worry about that. And there is 1/8. So then you got to just do this 8 more times, or somehow make it so that it works 8 more times. So that's pretty much how I make my little fractional things. Obviously I'm dealing with bigger pieces, so, or smaller pieces, so I'm having to figure out how to do this better. But in short, wherever that piece is that I just had, that's how it's done. And it's really stuff you have lying around. So that's how I made my fractional pieces.